Hello and welcome to Little Birdie's sports show of a Monday First Look. I am your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today in studio is MG for the AFL Round 8 review. We've also got Toprope on the line for the NRL Round 9 review. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped for the very best in men's grooming. MG, how are you?
Good, Nikki. Yourself?
I'm great.
You survived. Great. You look pretty fresh. You survived the week down at the Bull.
I had the best time down at the Bull. You know that. We had a great time.
Yes, we did. Yes, Nikki managed to find winners on both days, so she's well and truly paid for her trip upcoming to Italy.
Yes, that's right. So what did we get Wednesday? Wednesday was nearly the card. I only had one. There was only one race where I didn't bet, and then because remember I didn't get any reception. No, Vodafone is terrible at Warrnambool. Vodafone, you need to sort that out.
Jeez.
And so I got my tips in early, sent them to everyone in Melbourne, and there was a team of boys from an inferior betting company, not Top Sport, sitting at Cicconi's on Wednesday, and they kept texting me, and they were like, "You've tipped the card."
Oh my God, you'll be on the stream next
No,
year.
no, that was luck.
We'll have to leave you home with DK and the boys for next year if that's your tipping prowess.
Can I just say, DK scrubbed up so well on I was impressed. I was like, wow, look at DK. He was spiffy.
The DK content was absolutely elite. Absolutely elite for those watching at home. DK giving his 10 life tips.
Yes, I saw that. I told MG I was listening to it and watching it on Thursday because I had to come back. It was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. It was great watching.
Toprope, did you get any of Nikki's tips sent up your way? You must have had a fat day sitting up there on the Wednesday then if Nikki's nearly picked the card.
No, I'm not in the inner circle. A bit like over at school, not in the inner circle of Nikki's tips. So total strip out. But thanks for the leg up, Nick.
Yeah, Toprope texted me halfway through the day and said, my reception can't be working in Orange because I'm not getting the winners that Nikki keeps backing. So
I called Telstra. I said every tower's down. Things aren't working. I'm not popping a tip.
All other race days, I promise you'll be on it. But listen, it's a problem. What happens if they don't win?
Very excited. It was very good.
I'll deal with that problem when it comes, Nikki. But I did seem to miss the day where there was 8 of 9 winners tipped.
Sorry.
Yes. Unfortunately, Toprope, I was standing next to her for the first 4 and we'd had a fill up and all of a sudden she went missing. So I thought she must have just moved straight to to one of the pubs to celebrate, but she came back and tipped one later in the day as well. I just don't know where she went for the middle part of the day. So, very exciting day down at the Bull, and the boys put on a very entertaining 3 days at the stream, so all successful. And when we got back, the office was still standing, so it's all positive around for the little bird.
Oh, of course it is. It's amazing. All right. So now let's check out the AFL results for round 8. Port Adelaide beat the Western Bulldogs 86-69. Fremantle beat the Kangaroos 102-24. Richmond took care of Collingwood 113-86. The Gold Coast beat Sydney 75-61. Geelong beat GWS 88-35. Essendon, they beat Hawthorn 108-81. Brisbane beat the West Coast 105-30. Melbourne took care of St Kilda 93-55. And Carlton beat Adelaide 116-68. MG.
Yeah, it was a pretty lopsided week of results, Nikki. It was average winning margin between all games of 41 points. So, the live punters would have been stripped out for the most part. Probably only the Essendon game. Your team had a big final last quarter that turned it on its head for the live. But yeah, there was a lot of lopsided games, a lot of very ordinary teams going around, probably playing some of the better sides at the moment. So the more entertaining games kicked off on the Friday night. Port Adelaide did the job. They're now 3 in a row against the struggling Bulldogs all of a sudden. No Bontempelli, no Bulldogs it seems. And Port have got a bit of their mojo back. So they'll start to get some players back as well. I think Dixon and Fantasia not too far away for Port. So they're on the upswing, and I think they've got a pretty easy game upcoming around 9. The other good games, I thought Richmond and Collingwood was one of the highlight games for the weekend. Richmond, they've been hard to catch for me personally this week, this year. But I thought they were the good option on the weekend. They got the job done. Collingwood are just very much a one batter side. I think they're middle of the road side, so they're very consistent, but they're just not going to beat too many sides above them this year. The upsets, Gold Coast was probably the biggest upset.
Beating Sydney.
All the money for Sydney. I think the line went from 28, closed as high as 34, 35. Ooh. So Gold Coast lost outright. Very poor loss for Sydney. Now lost 2 in a row. And probably just hit a bit of a flat spot, Sydney, so they'll need to pick up their game if they expect to be top 4 this year. The other one's probably GWS was another disappointing one. Geelong went up there off a bad loss to Freo at home. Absolutely smacked GWS. So at 2-6 GWS, I think their season might be in the can. As we mentioned, your team, the Bombers, geez, unfortunately I'm surrounded by too many Bomber people, but very exciting last quarter for you guys. Phone was definitely blowing up. Unfortunately, the other side of the coin is Scoot and OB were Hawthorn, so they've been copying in a few of the chats that I've seen. West Coast gave up against Brisbane. Their season's done. Brisbane, it was a pretty ordinary match, actually. Yeah. Brisbane just went through the motions. They knew that they were going to put a number on. And probably the match of the round was Melbourne St Kilda. Just shows how far Melbourne are in front of the comp, I think, at the moment. Probably bar Brisbane, but in terms of the rest of the side, St Kilda came in with their opinion. They thought they were a chance of matching it with Melbourne and were never in it for the first quarter onwards, and Melbourne just kind of went through the motions, and St Kilda kicked a few late goals to make it closer. So other than that, it was a pretty lopsided week and not too many exciting games. So we will see what round 9 shakes out.
Thanks, MG. So now if we just take a look at the bookie wrap-up for round 8, 6 faves won, 6 covers. We had 4 out of 9 for the over totals and 7 home teams won. So for this season, we are sitting at 69% for the faves, 54% for the covers, 58% for the over totals, and 58% for the home teams. Anything strike you as glaring there?
Yeah, no, the home teams were probably the one that were dominating that statistic, and all favourites, as we said, a bit lopsided. So the faves all covered, and then the upsets were the upsets. So, yeah, the statistics seem to be tracking along pretty evenly so far.
Fantastic. Now for the AFL Stings results for round 8. Woohoo! Winners all around here. So we had 6 units bet and they both won. MG.
Yeah, a couple of underplays this week. Really couldn't find too much in the lines. There was a lot of movement as well, both with weather and a lot of COVID games which were affected. So don't like tipping in too many of these COVID games for the Stings. But, yeah, a couple of totals that I thought were high side. They both come down, so get the chips in with the better of them. And, they both went pretty much without a sweat, actually. It was good. So easy watching. But, yeah, I only found 2 this week. So, just grinding along nicely.
Oh, well, we like the grind. It's okay as long as we're winning. Amazing. Now, we might just have a quick look at the AFL Premiership market as well. So you've got Melbourne sitting there at 250, Brisbane at 5, Fremantle 10, Swans 12, Geelong 13, Richmond 15, Carlton 17, St Kilda 18, and the Western Bulldogs at 21. Is there any catching Melbourne?
No, Melbourne are pretty solid, 250 at the top there. Brisbane obviously clear second pick for mine at the moment, even though probably McStay's got a bit of an injury concern as well, but Hipwood's due back. Of the rest, Richmond have obviously come in, Carlton a firm as well, and probably the biggest move was Port have just come in back in the on the front page of betting since they beat the Bulldogs. So, I don't think anything's changed at the moment, but a few of the sides behind have moved in, Richmond and Port this week.
Amazing. Now, we might just quickly have a look at the Brownlow and Coleman medals as well, if you are looking at some of the exotics to add to your multi through Top Sport.
Yeah, so Patrick Cripps went out and started again on the weekend. So, he might have a little concern on an incident, but other than that, he's been dominant, might almost have 6 BOGs from 7 games that he's played. Wow. So, yeah, he's come right in at 270, looks pretty short with Carlton's draw being pretty easy this year, and he just a standout. Lockie Neal behind him. Brayshaw continues to be in Fremantle's top 3 players every week, and then you've got a couple of Melbourne guys who also going well. Behind that, I couldn't entertain too many at the moment. I still think Oliver's probably the value if I'm having one pick for the week at $8.25.
It's not bad value at $8.25. Now, if we just quickly skip to the Coleman medal as well, anything that you like here or you think the Coleman's wide open?
Yeah, I still think it's wide open. Lynch obviously he could have had a bigger day out. He kicked poorly in the first half. Looked like he was going to put 10 on the board at one stage. But, yeah, they're all the big guns, as you notice there on the screen. Charlie Curnow's probably he's coming a long way, and Peter Wright's going okay for Essendon. But, yeah, all the big forwards, no forward pocketers like last year. So the big guns wide open, and it'll be interesting to see to track this through the rest of the season.
Okay, thanks, MG. Now, if you are serious about your AFL punting, you do need AFL Stings. You can get it from $22 a week in the Little Betty Live TV shop. Serious about AFL? You need AFL stings. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with Nick Toprope Tedeschi for the NRL Round 9 review. Welcome back to First Look, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. I'd like to welcome in Nick Toprope Tedeschi for the NRL Round 9. How are you, babe?
I'm well, Nikki. How are you?
Good. Couldn't be better.
It's good to hear. Good to hear. It's another week of footy in the books. Another Canterbury loss, another Melbourne win. It's much of the same. Pretty interesting round actually. You would have been happy with your Chooks getting the job done, Nick?
Yes, the Chookies finally. I think I sent MG a text. I said if they lose here, I said I don't know what I'm going to do. So anyway, after that they obviously heard me and picked up the gear and went on to win. Thank God.
Well, the big Teddy, he was outstanding, wasn't he? 3 tries, a couple of try assists. He was magnificent. Probably with that combined with the injury to MG's man, the Pap, probably has him locked in at the fullback spot, which was under some controversy over the last couple of weeks.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously we do have to think about Origin because it's not too far away, really. So obviously those we've had a little chat here about Katani Stags and whether you take him or you're on Crichton. I'm on Katani Stags, so we'll wait to see what the New South Wales team looks like for Origin.
Yeah, Stags was making every post to win. He was very good again on Friday night Thursday night in the win against South. So, he certainly kind of he probably put the Talakai discussions to bed. And it probably is a 2-horse race now between Crichton and Stags. Okay,
now if we quickly have a look at the round 9 results, we've got Brisbane. They beat South Sydney 32-12. Canberra beat the Bulldogs 14-4. Parramatta, big upset, 22-20 over Penrith. Manly, 36-22 over the West Tigers. The Chooks, 44-16 over the Gold Coast. North Queensland, 36-16 over the Newcastle Knights. Melbourne, 42-6 over St George. And Cronulla, 29-10 over New Zealand Warriors. What did you take out of this week, Toprope? Huge results and big scores.
Yeah, a couple of big upsets early on. We kicked off with Adam Reynolds showing everyone at South Sydney that they may have made the wrong decision in letting him go. Absolutely was a masterpiece of organisation in the Broncos under 32-12 against the Rabbitohs team that looked like all kinds of creativity, all kinds of intelligence, all kinds of organisation. So, huge win for Reynolds, his first game against his former club. Massive upset, double-digit favourites, the Bunnies there. No surprises, the Raiders beat the Bulldogs, who were completely inept in the game that they were every chance of winning. They Bulldogs fullback Matt Duffy will do well to be in first grade next week after making backups Raiders half Matt Frawley look like Brett Kenny in his heyday, so it was a pretty ordinary performance from him. The big game of the week, of course, was the Panthers and Eels. They usually play tight games. They usually play low-scoring games. Massive line in this one, 12.5-point favourites, the Panthers, after the Cowboys hammered the Eels the week prior. Big game, bit of controversy in it, a penalty try that shouldn't have been awarded to the Eels, but Parramatta come away with the win, 22-10, kind of absorbed a lot of the Panthers' early blows and scored points when they had a chance. So that was Penrith's first loss in 23 games at home. So and that takes them off the top of the table. That puts Melbourne firmly on the top of the superior for and against. Then we had 5 big favourites to round out the week, and we had 5 comfortable wins. All minuses covered except for, depending on what line you got, whether the West Tigers Manly game opened 13.5, jumped 14.5. So you might have got a late cover there with the West Tigers if you got on late there. But the Roosters flogged the Titans. The Cowboys flogged a Newcastle team that was as inept as inept's probably the wrong word, that tried as little as I've seen a first grade team try it. The walking, the lack of trying to make a tackle, the arms he grabbed was horrific. Adam O'Brien will do seriously well to keep his job over the next couple of weeks. And this MG, I'm just absolutely gagging for the axe to fall on a coach. Nothing I enjoy more than seeing a coach sacking. So hopefully we'll see something in the next couple of weeks. And then Sunday rolled around.
We need to see a sacking before Origin. Come on.
Oh, please.
Can we put a market up for that? Can we put a market up for that? Which coach will be sacked before Origin?
We definitely need that. I'd lose too much money. I'd be backing him all. Then on Sunday, we see the Storm I'll probably put away a pretty courageous Dragons side. They're only down 12-0 at halftime, but 42-6. There was just no better side to watch than the Storm. I'm going to make a subtle statement here. In world sport of all time, there's been no better side to watch than the Melbourne Storm. 42-6. Ryan Pappenhausen scored a try on one leg, out sprinting a St George Illawarra team. He went off hurt. Probably the big news out of that one. And then the Sharks and Warriors. The Sharks had a player sent off 15 minutes into the game for an old-fashioned coat hanger tackle. You love to see it. You love to see the send-off. Those on the minus 11.5 were absolutely sick. And then they realised it was against the Warriors. Despite being down to 11 men for 10 minutes of the game, the Sharks went on to win 29-10 in a completely humiliating loss for the Warriors. Nathan Brown, another coach under pressure.
Okay, here we go. We've got a few sackings to watch out for. Thanks, Toprope. Now, if we just have a quick look at the round 9 results. So 6 faves, 5 covers, 6 over totals and 6 home teams. And so for the season, we're sitting at 69% for the faves, 51% for the covers, 43% for the over totals and 67% for the home teams. And now we're just going to have a look at quick Toprope's round 9 results for the NRL GGOA. What have we got? So we had 7 bets, 2 out of 7 correct, 16 units and just a small loss there. Obviously, some of those lines were the issue there. Toprope.
We only went 2 and 5 this week, but we were desperately unlucky on probably 3 of those. Like I said earlier, if you got the West line late, which just came out on that covered late, Newcastle were actually led at half time and completely capitulated, but even still, the margin was only 8 with kind of 10 minutes to play. And the Penrith Para game was a very low score and went kind of over in the last couple of minutes. So, look, these things happen. It was not the greatest round, but sometimes you get the bounce of the ball, sometimes you don't.
That's right. So we're just going to gear up for the Magic rounds because we don't have a Thursday night game in the league because obviously everything is going up to Queensland this weekend for the Magic round. MG was a bit worried about the weather. Queenslanders say no, they're going to play league regardless. So we'll see how that goes. So you've got to tune in on Friday because Toprope will preview the NRL with the boys on Friday. Now, we'll have a quick look at the NRL Premiership market. All right, so what have you got? The Panthers at 3, the Storm at 3.40, Parramatta at 8, Cronulla at 10, Roosters at 12, Manly at 17, South Sydney 21, North Queensland 23, and the Broncos at 34. Here we go. The Storm are catching the Panthers because ahead of they're going to play each other on the weekend.
Yeah, Melbourne of the day here. Interesting how long Ryan Pappenhausen's out for, but it's not going to be a season ender or anything like that. I just think the upside with Melbourne is higher than any other team in the competition. They were playing fill-ins everywhere yesterday. They had 3 players go off hurt, and they were still outstanding. So I think Melbourne will be very, very difficult to bet for the Premiership this year. And just that added incentive of how they kind of got eliminated last year, the $3.40 for me. It's not a 2-horse race, but there's 2 teams probably taking it, but 90% chance of the market, and there's blowout hopes like Parramatta, Cronulla, and the Roosters, but I'd rather be on the Storm out of those top 2.
Okay, all roads lead to the Storm. Now, if you are serious about your NRL punting, you do need GGOA. Now, you can get that in the Little Birdie TV shop, GGOA, from $22 a week. Serious about NRL, you need GGOA.
Okay, Nikki, it's that time of the week where we're trying our best, but it just shows how difficult it is on a Monday morning to come up with a tip for charity is what we do this time every week. So we can see that Toprope, he's finally coming into the Storm, I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, that he just says this is easiest job in the world, just tipping the Storm. I hope he doesn't back up and tip the Storm again this week. Otherwise, Nikki and I will be throwing in a protest for the easy catch. So Toprope got his Storm home by minus 22.5. It was an easy watch. Unfortunately, the 2 AFLs missed. So we will see on this week. So Toprope, you have now taken the leaderboard on 4 and 5 for the year. So for Wayside Chapel, who are you selecting for week 10?
Yeah, fun story, MG. I've just gone back to basics, and I'll just be tipping the Storm for the indefinite future. So, give me Melbourne plus 2.5. You won't hear me say this again for the rest of the year, but Melbourne Storm plus 2.5.
Yeah, I can't believe they're outsiders. So they will be another investment, I'm sure, this week. Nikki, for Sids and Kids, are you sticking with AFL or NRL this week? Who have you got?
I'm sticking with the AFL, and I'm going to take Fremantle minus 14.5.
Okay, minus 14.5 against Gold Coast at the Gold Coast this week for Nikki and Sids and Kids. For myself, for Love Me, Love You, I am going to Richmond minus 12.5. They are playing the Hawks this week at the MCG, and I think that line's a little cheap, so I would expect Richmond to get the job done there, minus 12.5. Okay, Nikki.
Thanks, MG and Toprope. Thank you so much for joining us. That's a wrap on this week's edition of First Look. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, download our podcasts everywhere you get your good podcasts from. Do not forget to follow us on our socials, Little Birdie TV, Twitter and Insta. The boys will be back on Friday, and make sure you tune in because they're going to cover all the NRL and the AFL because there's no Thursday night game. Remember, if you are having a punt, topsport.com.au, bet responsibly. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much.